Welcome back. It's season 16 of the ABC Network's Bachelorette, and this season you can find your share of brothers on the show. The reality show lets one lucky lady narrow the field of bachelors to land her dream man. And today I spoke with one of the contestants on the show. Garen Flower shares his experience from the pandemic to letting go of insecurities. All right, Garen Flower, so excited to have you here, all the way from LA, our guy from the Bachelorette. So we're talking all things today. So one of the things that was interesting to us is the fact that you being on this show during the pandemic. This is something that a lot of people obviously have had to deal with. Talk about your experience first with working or being on the show during the pandemic.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. And it was wild. You know, the world was shutting down once again because, you know, May and June kind of opened back up a little bit. And then towards the end of June is when, or July is when things started to shut down again. So that was crazy, you know, starting to do this process when basically everything was shut down. And we were in a safe bubble to where we all felt comfortable around each other and were able to, you know, pursue love in a safe setting, which was great. And I loved being a part of a season that was different. It was such a great experience. I loved going after love in this way, and it taught me a lot about romance.
And so, you know, I have to ask, obviously this is the Black News Channel. So as a Black man and having this type of experience on the show, what was this like for you? Was there anything kind of different about that?
There was a decent amount of diversity behind the scenes. So there's people I was able to connect with behind the scenes, and you know, there were other Black men on the show, so I was able to connect with them. You know, I was definitely concerned about, you know, Claire's interest as far as like if she's interested in Black men. If you look at like the other seasons that she's been on, you know, she was mostly with non-Black people. So I spoke to them about that, and it was very assuring that she was very open. So that made me feel good too.
So Garen, okay, speaking of risque, one of the favorite moments on the show, I know you're gonna laugh.
I set myself for that.
Yes. So one of the favorite moments on the show from all of us who are watching is you just kind of like let it go, all vulnerability aside, and just set all insecurities aside and say, you know what, I'm just gonna show all of me, basically. And so talk about that as like, you know, as a Black woman myself, and then talking to a variety of Black men, a lot of people struggle with those issues that we didn't really know that you guys will talk about. This allowed you to do that. So tell us about that experience for you, because you let it all go.
Yeah, I did. You're referring to the dodgeball game where it was strip dodgeball. And, you know, like you said, like women will talk about like body image issues and body positivity, stuff like that a lot, but men, we don't really talk about it that much, but it does affect us. I know it affects me. And basically like my entire adult life, for the most part, I haven't been really happy with my body. And this summer, I just really put in work and just worked on myself mentally and physically and got to a good place. And luckily it aligned with the time that I was going to do the show. And I've just always been so insecure about, you know, my body as an adult. I just told myself, like, why are you holding yourself back? Why are you telling yourself you're not worthy of this, that, and the other, or that you don't fit a certain standard? And so when the chance came, and it was like, we were told that it's strip dodgeball. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're men and we're competitive. And I knew that if we won the dodgeball game, I would want the other team to strip, you know what I'm saying? And because it's like as men we bet, and you want people to follow through. So it was like I looked around and my team wasn't doing it. We lost, and I decided to just like strip down. And you know, everyone respected that. Claire, the guys, they all respected the fact that I did it first. And there was a guy who had chosen not to, that you saw on the scene, and he was a man. He was a man about it, and that was his choice. And I was a man about it, and I chose to do the opposite. So, you know. It was crazy. When the other guys were sort of just sitting there not knowing what to do, I said, this is a chance for me to step up and for me to not only impress Claire, but own it for myself and have like sort of a coming out party for myself of love, self-love. And that's when I did it, and ended up being such a great thing mentally for me.
So very interesting there. Obviously, those were the cleaner version pictures of what we saw on TV. So, I mean, just hearing this story, I mean, what do you think about that?
That is interesting to say the least, but it was interesting about him talking about his body issues, and even as an adult being kind of insecure and getting over that. And especially, like you said, we talk about that as Black women, but not necessarily as Black men.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always hear, and that was why I was so interested in making sure I interviewed him, because I said, you know what, to actually speak out about this, a lot of people probably keep that to themselves, like, you know, when they're going to the pool with their friends and all this stuff, really uncomfortable about how the way they look, but afraid to share with folks, like, you know, like secretly, you know, like I need to lose weight. But like for him to say, you know what, I wanted to just let it all out, show everybody that I could just be me and I'm comfortable in a room full of people.
And he said one guy decided not to do it at all. So at least, you know, he said, you know, two opposites, he decided to do it, and it's just crazy.
And I remember watching it, I was bracing myself. I was like, is he about to do this? He did it.
The things that you do for love.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, I pray that you get to find that God sends you your wife.
Exactly.
But, you know, just to say kudos to him being able to actually take this show and being able to say, you know what, this is a way for me to show who I really am to people. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of guys out there that feel the same way he does.
Exactly. And then, you know, he just got a chance, like you said, to show himself to the world, literally.
That's how I said it in an interview, too. All right. Well, our many thanks to Garen for joining us today. And thank you. We will see you back here next hour with more news, weather, sports, and more from that interview. Stick around.